Stay classy, Philadelphia. Doc,
Yikes.
what a weekend of basketball. I know people like to say basketball's back whenever there's a good string of pretty good games, but I would definitely say it definitely piqued a lot of casual fans' interest to watch these playoff games, Doc. But how are you doing, sir? How was the weekend? Did you enjoy the sun sitting by the pool, drinking a Stella? What was?
I didn't have a Stella. I should have. It was great though, man. What a great weekend. Great weekend of basketball. Um, you know, this particular weekend must have been sponsored by Morton, the makers of Epsom table salt.
Yeah, I
Right?
was say table salt.
Table salt. They might make Epsom salt. I'm not even sure, but they made the table salt because it seemed like every time I woke up, I was dehydrated from the salty tears that were just falling out of the sky. Um, Starting with Brooklyn. Um,
Okay, we can start off with Brooklyn.
so I have no idea how the Nets let the Milwaukee Bucks. They didn't, because I told you the whole series. The Bucks, their punches have been weak.
Yep.
They've been, arm flailing, not really throwing any haymakers, but little baby jabs here and there, not like snap jabs like the old WWE games. But these little, I'm not a sissy jabs. I knew you would like that one. But the Nets kind of just let them hang around, it just seems to be the theme of this playoffs. Teams just letting teams hang around.
Pretty much. I would say this, and I don't know if you'll get this reference, but it was from Family Guy where there was a boxing match between Mike Tyson and I forgot the old lady's name, and Mike is just jamming on this chick, and she's just like, "I'm gonna bop you, one young man." And that was the Bucks,
right?
And they basically just tired him out. Like anyone who says that Kevin Durant is to blame for them losing this series don't know basketball and should not talk about it anymore. Period.
Right. Unbelievable. Period. So yeah, that is unbelievable. So I remember looking at this game, and I didn't know if you noticed. I found this to be peculiar.
Okay.
Not one bench point from the Nets. I hardly ever see that, but they only ran a 7-man rotation. Obviously, Mike D'Antoni's on the bench, so this makes sense.
Of course.
Not one bench point, despite they only running 2 people from the bench. Not
this really, honestly, just Jeff Green. I mean, Landry Shamet kind of got in for a little bit, but he kind of kept getting taken right back out.
And the thing about it is, this strategy didn't work. I mean, James Harden played 52 minutes and only scored 22 points. 53. Bruce Brown. Okay. Okay. Are you gonna give him that at 10th of a second? I was gonna give him the benefit of the doubt, but that is 53 minutes. Bruce Brown, 52 minutes, 14 points. Blake Griffin played 40 minutes, 17 points. Joe Harris, 46 minutes, 10 points.
That's the one that hurt.
But people are saying that Kevin Durant's 53 minutes, 48 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 block, 1 steal.
Game 7 high in NBA history.
But he let the team down.
Because he was gassed. Okay, he played all of game 6 and all of game 7 plus overtime. I think he only had like a minute or 2 rest.
We're talking about a toe away from winning this game. a toe.
A toe.
Like, had he been in Harlem Nights and they would have shot off the pinky toe, he would have won this game.
I see what you did there. That was pretty
But the Bucks move on. Obviously they played well. Giannis played 50 minutes. Chris Middleton played 52 minutes. Drew Holiday 48. PJ Tucker hit, some of those threes that, you need him to hit just a few, but he scored 11 points. Obviously he fouled out because he's playing one of the best players, in the league.
Yeah, but how he got fouled out. I mean, as controversial as it was, because a lot of people were upset about that.
Mm-hmm.
Your job is to not let your emotions take over, and he let his emotions take over.
It's tough because, and of course, the media.
The media.
Yeah, the media. You know what the media did. I mean, they was like, "Oh, he's out there, going back and forth with Mrs. Kevin Durant's mom." But well, I think PJ
about that crap.
I think there's something that was said this weekend that I never even noticed. I mean, I know PJ Tucker's been playing defense for a long time. He's playing great defense, but he's never been on a defensive team, an all NBA defensive team.
Yeah.
And I found that to be pretty shocking. I don't know. That's so crazy. Because he has been playing great defense. I mean, we're asking him to play 1 through 5 pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
But he's shown to be a really, really good contributor to this team. Obviously, the Nets will have to go back to the drawing board and figure out who they are. I don't know. Some of these contracts, these 1-year contracts, do some of these veterans continue to take the vet minimum? Like, does Blake Griffin come back? Do they keep Joe Harris? Do they keep James Harden? You know what I mean? Like,
I think they're gonna bring, because KD, James Harden, and Kyrie all have 1 more year together, and then they have a playoff option for 2022-2023 season.
Personally, I felt like the Nets should have never broken the core of what they had from last season. Because you think about it, they had Karis LeVert and whoever else they got rid of. Yeah, like you keep those guys together. I think they win this series with Kyrie and KD. I think James Harden, which now your fun fact from a couple of weeks ago remains true, that only one player from that Oklahoma City Thunder team has a championship. So that remains intact. So
also Spencer Dinwiddie.
That's right. Opted
out, so he's going to become a restricted free agent.
Yeah. So I just feel like he was another one that would have been really, really helpful in this series, but I feel like they should have stayed with it, but it's too late now. They're stuck with these guys, and they're going to hit the banana boat, I assume. But let's move on to the Clippers and Suns.
Yes, and before we start on this,
shoot.
Well, actually, no, we got to do the conclusion
of this
the other series.
Okay, that's perfectly fine.
And the Jazz, and I'll say this beforehand. Doc did say in his PC,
that's right,
a series was going to end Friday, and by gosh, he was right. He didn't say which team, but he said a team, and it just so happened to be in this series. Doc, the Clippers pulled it out. They had a man of a game.
Oh, goodness.
Because someone had to man up and contribute.
That guy played out of his mind. You hear me? That guy played out of his mind. Terrence Mann played out of his mind. And you know what I loved about it is he didn't even look like he was happy. Like, until, even though they were up by 10, like it was like 2 minutes left. They're up. No, actually, it was 1 minute left.
It was 1 minute.
And they're up. Yeah, they're up by 10, and he's just like, I mean, stone focused. Like, Nah,
You
skip all
know,
that.
that's
Skip
kind of
all
what
that you talking about.
that's kind of what you want though. And you
Yeah.
know why? Because the way the NBA plays right now, and this is kind of what happened with this game. You could be up by 25. All it takes is 2 3-pointers, and you're kind of right back in the game.
Yeah. Yeah. And I hated it because obviously I think a lot of people were rooting for Donovan Mitchell because it's the Jazz. They're a small market team. And, I think you always want the small market teams to kind of win. And Donovan Mitchell's been playing really, really well. It just so happens that they came across a guy who, as Donovan Mitchell said, man, that guy only missed 6 shots. And he couldn't believe it. I mean, six shots from the floor. But the guy scored 39 points in Kawhi's absence, which is good because Marcus Morris went down back to his normal self. They didn't really get a lot of contribution from Kennard and Rondo and Zubac. Patrick Beverly hit a big three in that last minute. Obviously, Reggie Jackson and Paul George scored, and even Nicholas Batum showed up. But the 39 points from Terrence Mann, it's like you got to ride the hot hand. And I know Steve Ballmer was super hyped about this because
Steve Ballmer, have you seen what he does whenever he gets excited during the game?
Well, it looks like he almost blows a freaking gasket every time.
Well, I kind of don't want to sit next to him because it's almost like he's trying to strangle the person next to him, which is like kind of hilarious. But of course, the big story out of this particular in the series is the way or the liability of the current reigning defending 3-time, or as Doc says, 4-time defensive player of the year, Rudy Gobert, because he was the one defending Terrence Mann, and he didn't even try to get to the perimeter for some of those threes that he hit.
True. That's true. I mean,
a lot of the pointing was towards him.
And it just so happens that Terrence Mann was just out there dunking on people. So, I mean, I don't know.
He did dunk on Rudy Gobert before, but the Clippers pulled it out. They finally made it to the Western Conference Final for the first time in team history.
Yeah.
Which is why we discovered that. But
of course,
like you said, let's get to game one. The Clippers heading to the Valley of the Sun
without Chris Paul.
The Suns without Chris Paul, who of course is dealing with COVID protocols.
So that's a huge problem that the Clippers lost to Phoenix without Chris Paul. That's a mighty blow. That's something that
it's not.
That's a huge loss. And the Clippers came out hot. They were winning most of the game by between 3 to 10 points, I believe it was. Maybe 3 to 7, 3 to 8. Obviously, Terrence Mann, 9 points. It wasn't like, he only missed 1 shot. But
and that's what I was gonna say. It wasn't like he didn't make all the shots. Like he got shots, he just didn't get enough shots.
Right.
At all.
Right. Reggie Jackson and Paul George still did their thing. DeMarcus Cousins actually had a sighting. Yeah. So looks like they went to the bench a little bit to see what they can muster up. Obviously, Nicholas Batum he's going to give you what he can. Marcus Morris, 3 for 11, 0 for 5. I mean, that's no good. So I think they should drop those touches, no touching, from Marcus Morris and Nicholas Batum and get Terrence Mann up there so that he can get paid.
I think he should get paid, but just like we like to do, shout outs to our Oregon listeners, Boardman does get paid. But this was really the Devin Booker show.
Yeah.
The Devin Booker show, triple-double. DeAndre Ayton, no slouch either, dropped 20 points, 10 for 14 from the field. Like this, when the Suns decided they wanted to ramp it up, they ramped it up. Cameron Johnson came off the bench and dropped a good solid 12 points as well too in 24 minutes. Like they did their thing, which is why I don't want to discredit what the Suns did without Chris Paul, because even though he wasn't there on the floor, and they mentioned it after the game, he gave them that motivation.
Of course, of course. I just, like I said, they did this. They won the game without Chris Paul. It's not about taking anything away from them because, obviously, if they would have lost, the media would have said, "Oh my
Of
God, they're
course, like,
missing Chris
oh my
Paul."
gosh, they missing Chris Paul. Like, and
Right.
with the media, you can't win because either you need to win with all the people, or you lose because of this one person. You get all this praise because you won without this one P, or oh well, such and such. Like, no, I don't care about what the media has to say. They have so much bias; it's ridiculous.
Right.
So
Right.
let's talk about this finals series.
Well, hold on. I just need to say
Uh,
they told us to trust the process. Trust the process. They say, "Oh my God, it's
Doc,
gonna
you trusted the
work."
process. You said.
Well, so this is what I said. The process worked. I think people must have thought that the process meant winning a championship, and I don't think it was ever about winning a championship. I don't think.
It was
I think
always
the
about winning a championship.
No, I mean maybe in somebody's deluded mind, sure. The process was about getting Philly back to being competitive because when they started the process, they were not competitive at all. They were actually toward the bottom of I guess, the East at that time. So you go out, you get Embiid, right? They got Simmons first.
Yep. No, it
He's
was Embiid
hurt.
first. It was Embiid
It was
first.
Embiid. Okay, so they go out and they get Embiid. He's hurt. Right? You go out and get Simmons. He's hurt. They actually went out and drafted crap. What was that? He was the person that I think started it. Oh my goodness. Oh, why can't I think of his name? Markel Fultz.
Yep.
He
No.
also got
Yeah, he also got drafted too, and there was another one too. It was another big man that also got drafted. It was like they went like 3 straight years with like big men.
so they and I know they drafted. I feel like they drafted Fultz before Simmons because after they drafted Simmons, they sent Fultz out.
It was. I think you're right. I don't know.
It's a ridiculous process.
It was like 4 or
Uh,
5 years of them just getting like top 5 picks.
right. So process, in my opinion, was really just to make them more competitive, which they did. I mean, the turnaround was amazing. What Brent Brown was able to do, he stayed with it. And then eventually they let Brent Brown go, and I think that's when the process started to you know, kind of do one of these kind of things, just like tailspin off, right? So you bring Doc Rivers in. Then Daryl Morey goes and tells Houston that he's going home to spend time with his baby girls.
Oh boy.
And then he comes over and joins the process, right? He comes in to kind of add his analytics to the process, right? I'm going home, I'm going to spend time with my baby girls. Oh, nope, psych your mind. I'm going to Philadelphia to have cheesesteaks.
I'm sorry.
Right?
I'm sorry, folks. I'm sorry,
All
Doc.
right. So Doc Rivers, goes from the Clippers, where obviously he's never made it to the Western Conference Finals because you just broke the news that they've never made it to the Western Conference Finals ever. So Doc couldn't get them there. You already know Daryl Morey can get you up to the conference finals. He's done that, but he can't get you to the next level. The 76ers, before the process, weren't getting to the Eastern Conference Finals. I think they might have made it once last 2 years ago when Kawhi hit the big shot in the corner. Was that was the Eastern Conference Finals, or was that the semis?
That was the semis. Because the Eastern
So,
Conference Finals is when they essentially shut down Giannis.
so you have 3 components. You have the actual 76ers, their new coach, and their new I'm taking care of my baby girls general manager, Daryl Morey, who's all about analytics, right? Which Ben Simmons doesn't fit his analytical componenting plan because, number one, he can't shoot threes. So you have 3 components, all which only 1/3 actually got to a conference final. So how in the world was this supposed to work? How was it supposed to work?
Oh, I don't know. I just wanted to watch the games. That's honestly what I wanted to do.
I mean,
Um,
great regular season, but it just how was it
regular
supposed to
season means
work?
nothing. Regular season,
Yeah,
number one seed. Remember, that's what I said. I said number one seed, right? Number one seed.
yeah. But whatever. So they lost. Let's go over it. So the Atlanta Hawks closed them out last
Like we're not
night.
even going to talk about Game 6.
Yeah. We're not gonna talk about Game 6. Atlanta closed them out. And this is kind of what I mentioned. It wasn't going to be just Trey Young. It's really going to come down to the bigs. John Collins stepped up. He's been dunking on people. He's been rebounding like a madman. Capella, 13 points. But of course, Kevin Herter. I always think I say his name wrong. I'm just going to call him Kevin H for right now. We're going to call him
No, it's
Kevin
Herter.
Homa.
It's
Herter. Okay.
It's
I was about to go Kevin Home Alone from now on.
Oh,
27 points,
folks, I don't
7
know if
rebounds.
I have to explain what just happened just then.
Kevin!
IHR rep actually kicked her door open and is just glaring daggers at Doc right now.
Listen.
He's about to get in so much trouble right now. But yes, Kevin Herter had. Honestly, this is normally what you would want as a pretty solid defensive team. You don't want the star player to beat you. You want someone else to beat you. Well, someone else beat you.
He really stepped up, and I think this is what they wanted all along. And Philadelphia has to really, really be, I would say, I'm going to say happy and thrilled that the two young players and Cam Reddish and DeAndre, I can't think of his last name right now, but the two rookies, the two young players, that they didn't play because they would have been in a world of trouble. Mm-hmm. DeAndre Hunter. So to me, it's like they're lucky. So, but Gallinari stepped up. Kevin Home Alone stepped up. Bogdanovich, I mean, get him out of there, right? Get Herter in there. Get Gallinari in there. Get Lou Williams in there. And guess what? They turned it around. And the process, as we know it, is over. Because you know what you have to do now at this point. Now you have to choose, like, do you want to build around Embiid or do you want to build around Simmons? Because eventually
they are going to build around Embiid. This has been Simmons' last season in Philadelphia.
And you said that right before we started.
Yep.
I'm going to say this. I thought they should have kept Markelle Fultz. I thought Markelle Fultz was a solid player. Obviously, he battled some injuries, but I think you keep Fultz and run Simmons. They could have ran a nice 2-guard back. But I don't even know what you get for Ben Simmons. Because you know what we just witnessed.
Yes.
Yeah. Obviously he has just signed a 5-year, $177 million contract.
The fact that the fans lost their minds when he hit a jump shot tells you they went absolutely bananas when he hit a jump shot.
Yikes.
Yeah.
So I'm going to just run to sports track really quickly. So here's the problem. I mean, Ben Simmons makes $30 million right now, 24 years old.
No one's gonna want
right? That. I believe that not only does he make, up to 30 million, but I believe Tobias Harris also makes that much money. So he makes 32 million, 34, I think, at this point.
He might be gone too.
So it's going to be tough.
I'm telling you exactly what's going to happen. They're going to trade Ben Simmons. Tyrese Maxey's going to become the new starting point guard. They're going to do a sign and trade for Tobias Harris, most likely, to get his salary off the books.
So this is where I could see the Rockets. I could see the Rockets taking an advantage of this. So here's the thing about it, though.
But I told you that you gave.
Hold on. You got to let me finish. You got to let me finish. The only thing about this is, since they're trading Ben Simmons now as opposed to last year, they may have to give up a first round pick for a team to even consider taking on this salary. Similar to what the Thunder did.
Yes.
The Thunder took Kemba Walker and a first round pick from Celtics. So if Ben Simmons comes over in a trade to anywhere, they're probably going to have to send a first round pick with him. And that stinks because then it's like you're losing draft capital. But who's taking $30-something million for a guy who can't hit a jump shot?
Who not so much. Okay, so we need to say this right now, and it needs to be established. It's not that he cannot shoot it; he lacks the confidence to want to shoot. That's what people need to understand. He lacks the confidence to want to shoot. And people are highlighting when he was like right underneath the basket, he was able to get the defender off of him. And instead of him going up for a dunk, he passed it off. Like, that shows a lack of confidence to want to do that.
But he's not good. He's just working on his strength. He should be posting up. Like, there's nothing wrong with posting. Like, just it's okay.
You're speaking to the choir here.
Yeah, like, it's okay. You're 6'9", you're 6'10".
6'10".
Back that thing up like it's juvenile. No.
And as I mentioned at the top of the episode when I said stay classy, Philadelphia, towards the end of the game, a fan decided to throw debris onto the court because, of course, they were going to do that for a Game 7 when it has been revealed to them that their team is not going to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. They proceeded to do that. That was just very classics.
Well, that happened. I know really quickly here, I know we're running low on time. Let's talk about that all-rookie team really quickly. I know Cole Anthony was mad about the snub, the young rookie from the Orlando Magic. But really quickly, the all-rookie team, Tyrese Halliburton, Jae'Sean Tate, Isaac Okoro, Isaiah Stewart, Saddiq Bey, Patrick Williams, Desmond Bane, Emmanuel Quigley, LaMelo Ball, and Anthony Edwards. Really, really great contributions from these players. I can understand why Cole Anthony would be upset, but it was enough guards. I think just having LaMelo Ball and Anthony Edwards and Emmanuel Quigley, that automatically kind of pushed him out of the running. If we're doing the whole position max thing that we talked about, that's it. But we know that you found this podcast on your favorite podcast platform. But if you did not, you can always go to our website at www.debateamongstfriends to not only listen to this episode, but all the ones from the past. Be sure to tune in tomorrow as we go back to the dark side of the ring. And then we're back Monday through Friday here, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, for more news, more analysis, and the reads.